actually done like a live podcast, so you one up me already. So that's cool.
Amazing, man.
Technology.
Ah. Hello and welcome to the 70th episode of New Human Podcast. I'm Aga Bahari, Edagologist, on Twitter and Instagram, and you can follow the show on liveinlimbo.com, iTunes, YouTube, and BitChute. And today we have the owner and founder and editor-in-chief of liveinlimbo.com that I keep bringing it up. And this is what an awesome opportunity and what a time to catch up on NEOHUMAN podcast. I mentioned that you were the first person who encouraged me to start this podcast as early as 2014, and it finally happened in 2016. And what a trip it has been, man. Welcome to the podcast that you basically co-started it with me.
Thanks, man. So it's like I know you've asked me a few times to be on the show, and it's been a number of years, but all it took was a pandemic to get us together, right? So
yeah, you mentioned that you were looking for a round number episode, and I just keep booking people who, I wanted to bring you on for the 50th episode, and I ended up getting Tim Draper, who was, he wanted to split California into three. Then, and I was like, well,
how can you like say no to that, right?
Yeah, exactly. But here we are, man. Here we are. How are you feeling in Toronto? What's going on in Toronto?
So like overall in Toronto, like still chilly, but we're getting lots of sunshine, so that's good. It's not super horrible, but like I hear downtown Toronto, like my friends, they're saying like Yonge and Dundas, it's like desolate. So that's
Really?
kind of different. And then like when you're driving on the streets, not many cars when it should be rush hour. So it's like, something feels a little different during these times, as we all know.
Yeah, I saw a drone footage from Los Angeles yesterday, and it's kind of unbelievable, right? And it also shows how fragile we are. Before getting any further, let's just to give our audience a better idea about who you are and what your perspective is, the work you've done, lives you've lived, and what are you mainly focused on now these days?
Oh man, so many lives I've lived, eh? Like concert photographer, website runner, whatever you want to call me, editor-in-chief, healthcare professional, world traveler to 50 countries. I was supposed to go to add two more to that list, but got canceled because
to the world traveling list.
Yeah, for the world traveling list.
50 countries.
I've been to 50 countries.
Yeah.
And in 3 weeks' time, April 3rd, I was supposed to go to Portugal, Spain, and Morocco. And those three are like doomsday apocalypse central.
Yeah.
So that's not, we're going to move that to next year. So fortunately, I think all the airlines are accommodating that. So that's pretty good. I understand what's going on, and it makes total sense. I'm not going to make a fuss about that. And I'm also ultra marathoner and triathlete. So.
And you started this. Yeah. Please go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, like, I had 6 races planned, and basically my whole spring calendar, those races have been either canceled or postponed, but I'm not going to let it keep me down and just keep training like they're going to happen. I'll run those distances on my own regardless.
Yeah. And if our audience are interested to know more about what Sean is doing, all they have to do is to go to her Instagram page at Sean Chin, and you're right on it, man. You're very focused and training all the time and sharing the result, and you're up early in the morning. When did you start this very focused path? Because this is a path.
At very ungodly hours, too. Oh my God. So I think in 2000, I didn't start with the fitness. So in 2017, I just made January 2017, I just made it. Like, I don't know, I'm not even totally sure. People still ask me, but I just had like a click in my mind. I was like really overweight, and I had no fitness. I couldn't run more than 500 meters, but January 2017, so that's about 3 years ago now.
Yeah.
I just switched to a whole food plant-based diet and lifestyle, and so for the first 6 months from January until June. I went from 185 pounds down to 140 pounds. And
That's incredible,
then,
man.
yeah, then in June, I felt like all this energy and like I wanted to use it somehow. So I went to the local running group near my house. It's called the Running Room. Um, and I could not run more than 500 meters without being out of breath. So I joined them, their Learn to Run group. And then I just slowly every single week for a few months, like gradually built up to like 5K distance, 10K, half marathon. And then my goal for that year was to run the Scotiabank Toronto Waterfront Half Marathon. So I was able to crack that. And then over time, you just keep adding aerobic base to that. And then the following year, I did my first marathon. I bonked really hard, but I still finished it and just kept going. So up to now, I've done 3 full marathons.
Wow.
And my PR is 3 hours, 39 minutes. So getting there towards that 3-hour mark that I want.
That's a
pretty
goal.
good. And yeah. So that's pretty much it for the running aspect. And then after that, I think what do they call it? An injured runner is a triathlete. so usually runners run into this issue. I had like an ankle injury, but I still wanted to have some level of fitness. So then you end up taking up swimming and cycling because they're lower impact. And then you're like, hey, I can do these 2 other things, maybe not as well, but I can still do it. So let's crack at triathlons and see what happens to that.
So is this life approach that you've adopted for the past 3 years, is this something that is available to any person with any level of income, or people have to be at certain level of comfort in life before being able to start thinking, oh, maybe I want to go down the path of Sean Chin?
I would, coming from me, if I can do it, anyone can do it literally. I had zero, like for the first 29 years of my life, I had zero fitness whatsoever. I did my mom sent me to like softball and like I did like one summer of swimming lessons as a kid. That's it. I didn't even know how to ride a bike. I taught myself how to ride a bike last year, 2 years ago. Crashed so many times, but it's worth it. Like anything in life, like photography, any kind of tech related stuff, even like podcasting too, you can take it down as far down the rabbit hole as you want. You can buy like the most expensive stuff, but you could just go to the used bike shop and buy any bike. And swimming, you just need goggles. Running, you just need a pair of shoes. You don't need the biking part is the most expensive, like because you want a cool bike. Who doesn't want a cool bike? But you don't need a cool bike,
right?
So
yeah,
you can make it as expensive or as affordable as you want, but you can still get the job done. I had many people like beat my ass with like old crappy bikes. Like having a new fancy bike means nothing.
Yeah, it's the same thing with music and really many different things that a lot of people try to subsidize the lack of maybe talent, maybe encouragement, maybe intention, maybe focus with better and more expensive and shinier kind of equipment.
It's the Ferrari guy. It's like that Ferrari thing where you're like overcompensating for something.
Well, it's a big scene with that in Miami, which is like 40 minutes away from us. Apparently, people go around and rent these high-end cars or even for a couple of hours just so they can take a photo and put it on Instagram.
Yeah. Well, if they say all the gear, no idea, or all the kit, no, I forgot that one. No, that one I won't say.
Yeah, but
swearing? You allow swearing on the show?
Yeah, sure. Why not? Why not?
So another saying that all the kit full of shit. So.
Well, it's the same kind of mentality, right? I want bigger candies. I want more candies. That I'm gonna put a photo of a really sick mixing board that I'm not doing anything with, but I'm gonna get like 15,000 likes on Instagram. So I must have made it in life. But I think this period of pandemic, it's bringing up a lot of we've been bullshitting around for, I
Mhm.
think, way too long, and this has brought an end to it.
Yeah, I think you're totally right because we live in like this, nothing against Kim Kardashian, but we were living in a Kardashian like era, like super first world. And I think everyone was like taking everything for granted, and just this little gentle nudge from the universe, because
Yep.
this virus could be totally way worse, like the
Yeah.
Spanish flu or something. This is just like a little nudge in our first world society, and there's like a little waking up that happens. And yeah, I think even though it's really sad times, like people will die, we'll know people that die and people that get sick. Many will recover, but there'll be deaths along the way. But I think it's like a gentle reminder again, and it's time to wake up a little bit. And from this crisis, we can actually build new opportunities and grow from it to show our true colors and show our grit to get over this together.
Yeah, it's, I mean, literally since day one of this virus that it started in China, when they announced it, that apparently it's been going on for maybe like a month and a half, 2 months before that, that they try to cover it.
Yes,
But
you
when
know
it,
that government. Yeah.
I mean, it's a totalitarian government. It shouldn't be a surprise that they try to. And that's one of the arguments that I have when people say, well, it could be a biological weapon. I'm like, it doesn't make any difference. They didn't contain it.
Yeah, exactly. It was like them making a nuclear bomb and it went off in their own place. It doesn't. Yeah, it's like silly.
Yeah. And people are saying that it could have come from the wet markets that they kill live animals. You've been to
Yeah,
China, right? Where?
yeah.
Which
I've been
part?
to China.
Which part of
I've been
China?
to Shanghai and Beijing, but not those areas. Yeah.
I saw a similar kind of a scene in Guangzhou
Okay.
when I was there in
Oh, you went?
2006.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, it was a route of me being human trafficked. We went from Kuala Lumpur to Hong Kong,
Oh, wow.
and then took a bus to the Chinese border, walked across the border, took a cab to Guangzhou, and then I was there 5 days and flew to Shanghai, stayed there for a night, and then Vancouver.
Wow, that sounds intense.
Yeah, Guangzhou, which is a tech hub right now, but back then, like one street was very modern. The moment that you would go to the alleyways, it's like 1500 China, all the animals, and
Oh man.
it's very different.
Yeah,
But
they're all like caged together, like right beside each other, right?
yeah, and with people, people
Yeah.
are
Oh
also
yeah, with
caged
people. Yeah.
together, and it's a lot of people. So it's not like, oh, we know that it's coming from wet market. Now we have to shut it down, because people don't really give a damn about, hey, we don't want to infect other people. They just do whatever it is that they want to do, and they're used to it.
They want to make a buck, right? They need to make a living somehow.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's sad.
And
So
even
when you went there, what did you feel when you went there?
in
How did
China,
they make you feel
if it
to see
made
that?
me feel that I'm standing out in the city. But I'll tell you how it made me feel seeing those things too. But in China, everybody is looking at you if you're a foreigner,
Yeah.
and we were very obviously a foreigner, and you don't want to be in that center of attention when you're being human trafficked with a fabricated passport in China.
Mm.
And back then I had no idea that China is this intense. It just coming up more and more and more, it's being revealed that how similar it is to Iran, the way that they're running their country.
Hmm.
But that level of, I don't know if it's poverty or culture, and it's very unfortunate we can't really openly talking about this kind of thing before being called like racist and xenophobe and those kind of names. But I think those days are over, because now we need to talk about it. Hey, exactly what is going on. It just shows that what a different world you can experience in a matter of minutes.
Oh yeah.
That this beautiful surface that we have created for us ourselves, and in the West, all we are doing is selling that beautiful surface to people. That is nothing, and can be shaken in the matter of, as we are experiencing right now, days. Things that, oh, you planned for 15 years. I'm going to get the mortgage. I'm going to build this kind of a house, blah, blah. Over. You don't have a job. Nobody's giving you money. What are you going to do now?
I heard that like 40% or maybe even higher of Americans can't absorb like a bill that's $400 in excess.
Right.
Like,
Right.
and what did they say of 2.2 million people just filed for EI
Right.
in the US, and then 500,000 people in Canada. So, and then how fast can they get that money? Who knows, right?
Oh, absolutely. And it
And
shows.
when the unemployment rate increases, crime rate will follow.
Yep. Yep. I mean,
So that's
it
like
all is connected. I mean, two things we can learn from this thing is that we're all connected, not in a spiritual kind of a way, in a very practical kind of a
in a
manner,
very
in a
literal
very
way.
literal sense. Exactly. And the second thing is now we have a once in a lifetime opportunity, hopefully, to experience exponential growth. And we're going to deal with exponential growth with the rest of our lives on the basis of technology.
Hmm.
And this is exactly how artificial intelligence and artificial general intelligence is going to spread and grow. And people will be just as freaked out, if not more.
Yeah.
And we're not prepared for it whatsoever.
We have no preparation for this whatsoever.
No,
Nature, the only thing that we can learn from this is that nature always wins.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And nature is not our friend.
No,
We can work with
we are
it.
the worst thing for this planet.
Right.
Like, if all the ants on the planet went extinct, the world would be screwed. If
Yeah.
all the bees in the world went extinct, we'd be screwed. If all humans went extinct, the world would flourish.
Yeah, which is really interesting if it's a matter of intelligence that when you cross a certain threshold, then you obviously humans have a lot of positive outcome that they've created for ourselves. Many of the animals are better off, while many of the animals are not better off dealing with humans. So it begs the question if it's there is a correlation between higher intelligence and a level of damage and productivity that you cause, that they both come together.
Yeah, man, I don't know. It's crazy. But since that you mentioned like artificial intelligence, one thing that's like happening right now is that since everyone's quarantined at home, you can like there's all this content online right now that like Netflix, Amazon Prime, Disney Plus, Apple TV, or whatever, YouTube.
Yeah.
There's a great thing, a series. I don't know if you've watched it called Age of AI on YouTube.
No, haven't
Robert
seen
Downey
it yet.
Jr. is
Mm.
Robert Downey Jr. is on it. So,
Mm.
and then to the episode I watched today while running on the treadmill, being safe inside.
Yeah.
Yeah. So today's episode was about how AI can stop poaching.
Mm.
So that was like in Africa, like with the elephants and the
Right.
tusks and stuff like that, which also leads into like who's the prime buyer of the tusk, the Chinese
Yeah,
market.
absolutely. Why is that in China? Why is it so different?
So like I think in China, okay, so they want the tusk because it's like ancient traditional medicine, and people there, it's like all about status symbols there. So having like anything that's been banned or is rare is highly sought after for some strange reason. That's the culture there.
Mm.
It's really sad though,
Yeah.
seeing all those poor elephants and even rhinos and the sharks as well. So
Yeah, I don't know how they're going to control whatever it is that they want to control, because China is rolling out a very Orwellian kind of model for social structure and
but you
social
would
order.
think if they had that much control, shouldn't Xi Jinping be able, their president, be able to like ban this stuff like totally?
I
Like
don't
it's
know if
banned, like it's banned formally, but like there's still a black market. If he had that much control as we think he has over the people, can't he like get rid of that stuff too?
they just shut down 20,000 wet market in China as a consequence of
But
this.
no, after SARS, they shut them down. But
Right.
then, as soon as SARS was over, they opened back again. So they learned nothing.
I think it's part of it is whether or not they learned something. The other part is social
If they want to
adaptation.
do something,
Just social adaptation, because if this is how people live, if this is how, as you mentioned, people make money or people eat, it would be very, very difficult to tell them that, hey, we're just going to rely on you promising us that you're not going to do it, because they're like drug dealers in a way. You ban them in this neighborhood, they're gonna go somewhere else.
The,
And
the sad part is that if that's true, then every 10 or so years, we're just going to have another virus.
oh, absolutely. I was just watching a short documentary. I think it was Vice, or somewhere else, that they went. No, sorry, 60 Minutes Australia. They did an undercover reporting in a wet market in Bangkok, which is underground. And there were like signs all over the place, no photos, no photos, and they were filming it with a hidden camera. It's part of a culture, and I think one thing that definitely is going to happen as a consequence of this is that immigration and open border and globalization, we're done with the way that we've been arguing against those things, because people are fine with whatever until their lives are threatened, and now they could feel it really, really well. And now I don't know what kind of an order will be established as a consequence of that, but a lot of things,
the borders will be tight. So like, even let's say if this COVID-19 thing finishes in like August or something, the world won't go back to how we knew it prior until, but eventually it will, but maybe in like 5 years, we're going to forget this happened, like all millennials and like new generations of younger people do. They'll just forget this happened, and then we'll get into another, whoever the next Kardashian is, and then all of this will just cycle over again.
Well, I think there was an order established in the world after World War II that was led by America, this liberal democracy. And it hit its limit in the threshold in 2015. I think so. From 1945 to 2015, that's a long run. Yeah. And it started being challenged because of democratization of information, that people have access to social media. You don't need to go to CNN to be heard. You can just have a Facebook account or a Twitter account. And some people like Trump, they started capitalizing quite early on. If you go back, it's really funny actually to see it. Like early tweets of Trump, 2012, 2013, he has like 200 likes, 250 likes.
Yeah.
But now it's like millions and tens of millions of people, which, really, to me, means that democracy is over, because it doesn't matter who loses and who wins. Anybody who end up as a loser, they still have the megaphone. They still have the way to communicate with their followers, who are ideological followers in many ways. So it's going to be very, very interesting. But that order is over. And I think from 2015 to maybe 3 months ago, we were debating, hey, bigger centralized government, more globalization, loosen borders, and the other side was arguing for nationalism and all that. I think that argument is over.
I think the UK Brexit thing kind of slightly foreshadowed it. So,
and what a timing for that.
Yeah, what a timing. So much timing for this 2020 that we've had so far. What a great start to the decade, eh?
Yeah, I mean, it's if you believe that we're living in a simulation, then
I don't know. What did we have so far in 2020? We had Australia was on fire. Our climate's dying, and now this coronavirus. So,
well, the second most powerful figure in Iran got droned down in Iraq. That we were like, oh, there's going to be a war and all that. Impeachment. And
we're only 3 months in. We're only 3 months in. Yeah, impeachment.
Yeah.
And it's an election year.
And see, this is a kind of a rate that will continue accelerating, this news generation. And what will happen as a consequence is that most people probably going to unplug completely, because you can't catch up. It makes no sense.
The media is absolutely loving all of this.
Yeah, but they're also threatened, because they have to go through bureaucracy. If you're a YouTuber, are you familiar with Project Veritas?
No, please tell me.
So Project Veritas is a right-leaning, conservative, Republican-leaning activism organization that they train and send people undercover to companies like Google, CNN, and they just get the inside look at what's going on inside these organizations. They have caused significant amount of damage to like ABC over Jeffrey Epstein. They have this reporter on camera saying that, oh, we had Jeffrey Epstein, we had the Clintons like 4 years ago, but then they just buried the report, people in ABC. So they've done like a whole bunch of these things, Bernie Sanders campaign and all that. They don't have to go through bureaucracy. They make something, they do their own process, and they release it online. If Twitter bans it, it's going to be on Facebook. If Facebook bans it, it's going to be on 4chan. 4chan bans it, it's going to be on Darknet.
They're gonna make. Do they have their own server? Like, what did you call? What were they called again? Project what?
Project Veritas.
Veritas. Okay,
Yeah, the guy who started it, his name is James O'Keefe, and he really is doing the job of journalism. But the problem is that because real journalism now is threatening the status quo, all of these people are being called, I don't know, Russian bots, and all the labels just to shut them down. But yeah, mainstream media is loving all of this, but at the same time, they're very threatened because the format of monologue and one way kind of a narrative has changed forever.
I think the mass population will be looking for alternative news sources like this Project Veritas, Joe Rogan, even Alex Jones, and what's his name, Stefan Molyneux on YouTube. People will be seeking this other stuff because it's a stress on people's mind. Yeah. All of this, like whenever you turn on CNN or whatever, it's like constantly all of this, and then it's a mental fatigue. People can't take this.
Yeah, it's a world that they want to create. If most of your sponsors are insurance companies, your main product becomes tragedy and disaster and fear.
Yeah.
But it'll be interesting to see how. I was thinking about going across Scandinavia in August, but if this goes on, that's not going to happen.
I don't think that's going to happen, man.
Yeah.
A lot of my triathlete friends, we kind of like, even though like the later ones, like in November, I'm signed up for my first full Ironman in Florida.
Oh wow, we're in Florida.
That's in Panama Beach City.
Oh, okay.
Panama City Beach. Yeah. Yeah, you're down there, so it's nice and warm.
Yeah.
So. Where are you, in Naples or what?
No, Fort Lauderdale.
Oh yeah, I have relatives there.
You should come hang out, man.
Yeah, next time. Yeah, I have lots of relatives in Florida, east and the west side. So yeah. I love Florida. Oh yeah, what was I saying? Oh yeah, so something like those late races are not canceled, but a lot of my friends were just like, it's probably not going to happen.
Yeah.
So we'll still train for it anyways, but like,
I mean, it's gonna crush the industries, tourism, and
so I feel so sorry for all the small businesses and restaurants and even not the airline themselves, but all the employees. Like Air Canada just laid off 5,000 people, and these people are not going to be able to survive for that long. And they have no idea how long it will last. Like the squeeze on like the masses' wallets will really, really shaken up all of society as we know it.
Are they doing anything in Canada with respect to financial stimulants? Because in the US, they're pushing for $1 trillion, I think, which is basically we're just going to send people checks until this die down.
Andrew Yang's happy about that, right?
Well, I mean, he should definitely take credit for popularizing it. But, I mean, he didn't invent universal basic income.
Wait, so did they, like, is that approved? Every person will be getting... what, $1,000?
So that depends on your income, how much you're making as an individual, as a couple, and above certain amount, which is I think like $250,000, $300,000 a year, you're not gonna get anything.
Yeah, they don't need anything.
Yeah, but if you're making like below $100,000 as a couple or something like that, you get the check for $1,500.
Per month or just one shot?
Well, they're doing it step by step because what has happened here is that the left in America has given up on the idea of immigration and open borders, and the right has given up on the idea of cutting down social entitlement programs over this, because the economy can collapse. If people don't spend, none of this matters. And this is
people need money in their wallets to spend.
And certainty. Right? That our lives are not going to be completely altered, fundamentally altered in a matter of a day. But it seems like Aubrey De Grey, I don't know if you watched that episode on Joe Rogan, is talking about defeating aging.
No, I didn't watch that one. No.
Definitely watch it. Very credible individual. He's running a foundation called Sense, and they've been working on longevity and end of aging. And he was saying a big change is coming in 5 to 7 years. And our policymakers are not ready whatsoever. And that's the most terrifying thing to him, because the day you tell people, hey, you have the option of living up to 400 years, your entire worldview is different, right? You can have a new career at 200 when you're 200-year old. So we are entering a world that has never been experienced before, and a lot of people gonna freak out about it because it's not the kind of order that any of us are familiar with. But it is
None
happening.
of us.
It
Yeah.
is happening, and we have to go with it. Go with the flow.
I think this will teach this situation that we're in will teach, or from what I've seen so far, and well, at least from my circle of friends, people are embracing that this is happening. They're not trying to like dismiss it. They're just trying to grow and grit through it. So that is one positive sign.
Absolutely, and credit to those people doing that, going inner rather than being freaked out about the outer world.
This will make us more spiritual, I think, and less possessive and less, I don't even know, objective, like wanting like tangible things.
Yeah.
Because now, like when you go to the grocery stores, like people are like trying to like hoard toilet paper.
Yeah, but it's also good how much shit those people are getting on social media when, for example, they're fighting over toilet papers. I love it.
Yeah. It's unbelievable. It's like you should be fighting over like the bag of rice at least, not the toilet paper.
Yeah, and I mean toilet paper. Why? Like, can you just wipe your, where with your
You can
bare
use
hands
leaves.
or
You can
bare
use
hands, man?
leaves.
Just wash your hands. They're doing that
Use like
in.
a shower or something. Whatever. That's like the least of your concerns. But yeah.
Yeah, the way that they're getting the backlash, though, that's the beauty and the pain of this time that we're living in. That everything is instant. There cannot be any bullshit. It will be revealed. This sunlight is becoming brighter and brighter as the best disinfectant. And, a lot of people who have interest in keeping the sunlight away from whatever it is they're doing, those are the people who are freaking out the most.
A lot of people are freaking out.
Yeah.
Tons. But how is it in Florida? Same or?
Well, the governor here declared national emergency like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
More than 3 weeks ago. They've.
So is it like the same? Like all the restaurants are closed. You can only get like takeout or.
Yeah, and delivery. And even
Delivery.
then, we ordered a whole bunch of grocery to be delivered, like including some meat, some chicken. And on the day of delivery, which was a week after we ordered,
oh wow,
they called us and said we're completely out of chicken and certain kind of meat. Like we ordered eggs, there are no eggs.
Wow, that bad, eh?
Yeah.
So that's worse than here.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. People are going along with it now because they've understood that it's important. They've activated the National Guard. Trump mentioned Miami 2 days ago. It's like it's one of the hotbeds. Nowhere close to New York. New York is a disaster now.
I saw one person's video, like she just held up her phone and was taking like a video of the New York skyline, and you could just hear all like the sirens and like ambulances and stuff. So that's pretty surreal by itself already.
Yeah, my friend.
Also, before you continue, not to poke on like eating habits and stuff, but you'll survive without animal products. Trust me, you'll survive.
Yeah, I mean it's a good opportunity to talk about what would be the best kind of a food to consume in this kind of a situation that give you the most energy and it's longest lasting. And what would be your advice?
You want I'm not telling anyone what to do. I'm just telling you what I do, and it seems to be working. Generally speaking, I'd like to say I'm not even a vegan. I wear like a goose down jacket still. I still have some leather belts, but I eat a whole food plant-based diet. And I say just try eat like a peasant. Like peasants eat the best food, probably like the most nutrient dense food. It's only the richer people and middle class and like higher income people that go eating like the saturated fats like bacon and meats and all that stuff. So I keep it super, super ridiculously simple, like rice, beans, potatoes, bananas. Literally those four things I can survive off of. Like, and with like there's like 20 different beans, 20 different grains out there, and you just rotate through all of them. Put some hot sauce with it, sriracha or whatever. It's golden.
And
My mom says I eat bird food, but whatever, I don't care. Birds fly, so there you
as
go.
long as it works for you. Are you taking vitamins and supplements and stuff or no?
The only vitamins I don't take like supplements, but I take vitamin C, D, and a B12. Those three. But I think everyone should be taking a D no matter what. Even if you live in Florida, I think everyone could use more vitamin D.
Yeah, we have these compact vitamins that you take one, and it has like number of them. Definitely very important to take care of your health and take care of yourself, but it's very difficult sometimes to find a right amount of information. You know, a lot of noise.
Keep it simple is what I say. Keep it super. You don't need like protein powders, creatine, BCAAs, all this other whatever weird stuff. I know like what's his name? Chris Wild. He takes what 120 pills or something a day or something.
He lowered that number from 300.
Oh yeah, so there you go. That's half the number of pills.
I'm sorry. Let me just let my cat out 1 second. This cat cat is not in a quarantine.
Yeah, cats are not prone to. I just hijacked your show. I'm joking. Cats are not prone to the COVID virus. Though I just did read that gorillas might be too. So
I keep reading different kind of news that animals are not, and then 3 days ago I think I read that the first dog died off of it, and then I started feeling guilty. I was like, oh my god, what if we have it and give it to our animals and all that? It's just a very it's an opportunity to delve inside, and it's also an opportunity to just give up on everything and just live with fear.
But it would kind of make sense that other animals are prone to it, wouldn't it? Because it originated from a wet market with all those animals. So.
Yeah, it came from a bat, or what's the other one called?
Pangolin or something.
Pangolin, yeah, pangolin, which is apparently
the armadillo thing.
It's the most trafficked animal in the world. I didn't know that.
I did not know that either, but they're rare. So as I was saying before, they want their rare animals for some odd reason. So it's a weird obsession.
A series of latest infections, they all jumped from animals to humans. SARS, this one, HIV
all
itself.
Of them, yeah. All of the latest viruses, like the last 20, were all animal. They all came from animals.
So what changed, do you think, that now we're experiencing something like this, or this has been going on for a long time, we just couldn't detect it?
This is a fantastic time to go vegan, my friend. This is when the whole world goes vegan. Buy your stock in Beyond Meat when this is over. Buy it now while the whole market's like plundered. So that was a joke.
You're advising in favor of buying stocks because the market's gonna go back up.
I think it will eventually.
Yeah.
As fast as stocks can go down, they can go up as well.
Which is just quite a ride. It's insane.
Basically, even if it does go down in the next 2 weeks, like literally anything that you can buy right now will like double when it goes back to normal.
Right. A lot of people express concern about how this whole thing has given an edge in favor of China now, because they had the opportunity to buy all of these stocks that had dropped, and when they go up, they will have not only the majority of the shares in these companies, they would also make quite a bit of money. Who knows? This China-West rivalry, this will be around for a very, very long time. It seems like it.
I don't think it's going to end, man.
No.
Pretty wild.
Two completely different approaches. I think West will become more like China than the other way around.
Well, I think the people in China want to become more Western, like that. That's
Yeah.
why their middle class is growing so much.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, definitely capitalism, the way that they've implemented it. But
wait, so you never finished, so you did not get any of your groceries or what?
oh, we got some, but some of them
Okay.
were just not delivered, and they refunded the money.
Were you
Um,
able to get any kind of meat or?
yeah, very very
Oh, okay.
limited. It's like packaged meat.
Oh boy.
I guess the worst case scenario is that we just put on a mask and goggles and stuff and go to butcher. But I just don't know how. Look, I've been a introvert all my life. Like this is perfectly fine for as long as I have internet. I'm happy. I can stay in
Yeah.
one room.
I think if you had a poll, you could live the rest of your life in a world that had COVID or in a world that had no internet. People would choose to live in the world with virus.
I mean, it's a very difficult thing to give up. This connectivity and
There's
access to
another joke.
information.
It's like all these people like people like me that like train indoors and stuff like this. It's like we've been training for this our entire life.
Right, right. There was a meme that you shared from another page. I shared
Yeah.
it too.
Or
Hilarious.
the shit goths say goth
Yeah,
people.
yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah.
I was been
CDC
training
said
for this my whole life.
CDC has recommended people to stay home, and there's a picture of Marilyn Manson looking out a window. Like, I've been training for this all my life. Yeah,
That
I mean,
page is the best thing right now. It's like if you go on that, you can just scroll through that thing all day long.
yeah, memes are awesome.
How are you how are you coping like in your family over there?
It's
And
actually really cool. We are closer together. My girlfriend and her daughter doing more stuff because their school shut down. I think until the at least the end of this year. I don't think she's gonna go back to school, which she's happy about. But she's not happy about not going to camp in Canada, which she goes every summer.
oh, that sucks.
Yeah, but
I
we'll
think
we'll
the
see.
kids will in school will remember this for a very long time.
Yeah,
Even if they don't understand it now, they'll be like, "Why are we off so long?"
yeah. The
Like maybe right
changes.
now they're happy because it's like extended March break,
Yeah,
but then they'll sense something's up.
yeah. The change is very sensible. They can totally understand that something big is going on. Maybe they don't understand the impact of it. But also, I'm like, if it's majority of the people who get it and have real problems and die and all that are old people, like older than 70, 60, something like that.
Yeah,
Why is it
and
that
they have underlying issues. Yeah, continue.
So why is it that those people are not staying inside and tell them? Apparently, Sweden has taken the similar kind of an approach. Their borders are open, and they told their old people with problems that, hey, look, if you come out, you might die. So just stay inside and ask for help and stuff. Why are we doing that?
I don't know if this is like totally true, but I heard like some of those Scandinavian countries are trying a different method. They were like doing like the herd immunity thing.
Mm.
They want like they told the elderly people to stay inside, but they told everyone else younger to live like normal because they wanted it to spread, the virus to spread to build herd immunity.
Right, and it
But I
makes
don't think
sense.
it kind of does, but I don't know if it's working better or not.
Yeah, who knows? Because they're saying the vaccine is like a year and a half away.
Do you know they never even made the vaccine for SARS?
Really?
It just kind of just died by itself in the summer, which is what I'm hoping for this as well.
Well, this would be, if that will happen, it would be unbelievably in favor of Trump, because already people are saying that he might win US with the kind of margin that is unimaginable, like 400 plus electoral colleges as a result of this, because Americans do not elect a new president during war times, and this is what it is. This is a wartime. The
Well,
kind
I
of
think okay, even before this happened, I think he would have won like against Bernie or Biden. Like
Absolutely.
not, but like I heard like some people say like this is gonna make Trump lose because not the Democrats that they caused it. Maybe there's like some conspiracy there, but like he has his two big selling points are low unemployment rate and an amazing economy. But now he can't use those two things as his platform. come the November election. But that I don't think that should mean you should go vote for Biden.
No, absolutely. It's so irresponsible that Biden is even an option. Like, forget about his mental state. It's that
Yeah.
the guy has gotten money for decades from different countries with evidence that these people don't even want to look into. From Ukraine, from China, from Romania, from Estonia, all over the place. This guy has gotten money and sold access to his office. So the idea that we don't like Trump and we're willing to put this person who's not going to be in charge, there are going to be people behind him, that's going to be DNC, Democratic National Committee, in charge of running the country. But their action has split the party. Progressives are not in favor of them. Ilhan Omar, who's like one of the squad, I don't know how much you're following the American politics, but this Muslim representative, total progressive, far left, she came out and said Trump is doing a fantastic job. People in CNN were saying it, MSNBC were saying it, because this is not something you can blame on Trump when people around the world, like 140 plus countries, are affected. He shut down the borders to Chinese, non-American Chinese travelers very early on, and CDC came out and said that was a key, that all of that. And this kind of uncertain times, people want a strong man. That's the thing. They're not going to risk further fundamental damage and effect to their lives and finances and their kids and all that by selecting someone just because they don't like the guy's attitude and tweets.
Yeah, I think Trump's done a fantastic job, like for his whole presidency already. I think he actually proves that America is a democratic society because he had no political background, no army background, and then he just beat Hillary, who was like the epitome of all politics, like was in politics, married to the president, blah, 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 and he just wiped her out.
Yeah, so, plus 16 other Republicans, including senators and governors and all that.
And he does what he says he's going to do. He may not say it in the politically correct way that politicians are used to, but he says it and he actually goes along with it. So
yeah, and he's a practical human being. Like this, sending checks to people. Apparently, progressives have taken it to Pelosi as the Speaker of the House and pitched it, and she's rejected it.
And she wants to show that she's the one that's giving the money. She's the one that has it in control, not him.
And they took it to Trump. Trump said, "Yeah, I'm going to sign it." So what happened?
Can't he just override her though?
Absolutely.
Oh, I hope so.
He can veto. Whatever it is.
My thinking is that if the Democrats think this is a way, they're going to use this COVID thing as a way to make Trump lose the election because he doesn't have those two selling points. He could just like enable the wartime laws and be like, you know what, this year we're not going to have an election.
Yeah.
I'm just going to continue being the president.
I mean, he has already enacted, I think it's Production Authority Act or something like that, that it is an authority that is given to presidents during war times that you can basically take over your private sector.
Yeah. That's what they did before. Like Ford and GM went from making cars to making like tanks and ammunition and stuff.
Yeah, and this is a disastrous situation for at least pharmaceutical industry and medical industry here in the United States when the country is dependent on the Chinese production of antibiotics, 95+% of its consumption.
Where's Bill Gates in all this? How come before he was like saying everything? How come he's not putting billions to like making masks now? And stuff like that?
He has stepped down from Microsoft officially. Apparently, he's going to focus completely on vaccines is what he's going to do as a philanthropist. But again, whatever he does, there is a group of people who believe that Bill Gates is coming up with vaccines to shrink the population, kill the population because we have overpopulation and vaccines are bad and give you autism and government, so it doesn't matter. Even if you have vaccines, there are a whole bunch of people who are not going to do it. And then the question would be, is the government going to be in the position to force people getting vaccinated or not? And I think that's the place that we are headed. That's why I'm saying West will probably become more like China than China become more like West governance wise. We'll see.
Yeah.
Man,
So what
what
are you
is
doing to keep sane though? Like
I
all
think
the sports have been canceled, all the seasons are canceled, and
sumo tournament went on today, was the last day, but without any audience for the first time in more than 2,000 years history.
the Olympics they still want to put that on. So
Well, they're
the thing
talking
is that
about
if
it.
I think Japan and South Korea have done a tremendous job at containing this. I
Yeah.
don't know if it's like totally safe there though, but like even if the Olympics go on, I can promise you no world records will be broken because the athletes just have no idea how to train during all this,
Right.
or if they should be training at all.
Yeah. I mean, when the Olympics are going to be normally, like July.
Yeah, July.
I don't know, man. I don't know if it's going to happen. I mean, it just the visuals of it is not very good. That after
No, it's
something
not
like
looking
this,
right. But
yeah,
like I think like the country that hosts the Olympics, not only do they want to host like the athletes, but I think they need the financial income from like all the tourists and stuff. That's what they were banking on. They can't if you were to postpone it, all their investments in that would
yeah,
just be wiped out. So I feel for them too.
absolutely, absolutely. I mean, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Again, it just shows how fragile we are. In a matter of days.
I need to give a shout out to Vince McMahon, of the WWE,
Yeah, shout out
because
to Vince McMahon. Absolutely.
I think I don't know if you still follow wrestling at all, but they've been doing like their shows Raw and SmackDown with in their performance centers with no audience.
Same with UFC,
So
I think, right?
I'm not totally sure about UFC, but
Yeah.
like kudos to them
Yeah.
for like even those wrestlers they still have to like physically touch each other and stuff, but like I'm sure they've been tested, but like to work in that environment with no audience and like because they live off the feedback
Yeah.
from and energy from the crowd, but to still perform to entertain everyone right now because everyone's just kind of sick of hearing all this sad news, right? So WrestleMania is supposed to be April 5 and everyone's like that's going to totally be canceled because when I went for WrestleMania 30 in New Orleans, that was like 75,000 plus people.
That's
Now,
awesome.
so that obviously that's not happening, right?
Yeah.
So everyone's like WrestleMania is going to be canceled, but actually they're like it's still going to happen. No audience, but they're going to spread it over 2 nights, so Saturday night and Sunday night. Some of it will be taped and it's going to be from different locations, so they're living within the rules of the land, like less than 50 people
Right.
per gathering or something. So you still need like your camera crews, pyrotechnics, the wrestlers themselves, referee, whatever. So they're trying to uh, be within the guidelines of safety, but still they want to like entertain people. Like people need something else. Like when I watch wrestling now, like I totally forget about all this COVID stuff. So people need something like this. So this will be the only sporting event that's occurring during this time, which is wild to think of by itself.
Good. Well, as I said, sumo was, the tournaments last 2 weeks. And for
Yeah.
the first time in 2,000 plus years of history, no audience. And it affected some of called rikishi, the wrestlers. They couldn't perform as well because it's just, it's
Yeah.
weird. But
But
kudos
kudos to them for
Yeah,
going through it still. Yeah, totally.
absolutely.
Big props.
Also, independent scene, they're coming up with their own solutions. One of my friends in Brooklyn, he usually hosts weekly, I think weekly or monthly events in Brooklyn called Ambient Chaos. They bring
Okay.
some ambient musicians to perform, just improvise.
Yes.
And he shifted all of that online. So people from around the world can submit work and video themselves now. And then he share it on this page. So it's go on in a virtual kind of a way. I think VR is, virtual reality
Yeah.
is going to.
Yeah, I was going to say VR is going to take off here.
Yep.
And even more streaming stuff is going to take off here because like all like the gyms are closed right now. Everyone's asking me to use my own personal basement gym, so I'm lucky I have that, but no one's getting entry to that. It's all mine. It's all
Right
mine.
on.
I knew this was gonna happen. I got this. But so it's like, but those gyms, like the trainers, they're showing like free workouts.
Yeah.
and like they're going on like Instagram Live or Facebook Live, and you can like follow along.
Yeah.
Even Arnold Schwarzenegger, he posted his old school like basic body weight exercises anyone can do. You don't really need any kind of equipment, so you can see like everyone's becoming more creative. This gives everyone an opportunity to grow and be creative in different ways for free, and they're not asking for any money for this. So
Yeah.
we're seeing a different side of people now.
Yeah, it's the
I don't know why
limits.
they don't do this for concerts. Like all the concerts have been canceled, but why don't they just do like they can just play in their own houses, or even if the musicians don't want to be together, they can do it over Skype and play together and stuff like that.
For sure, for sure. There's a platform called Stage It for
Yeah.
years that you could, perform virtually and sell tickets. And I gave it to some
All
of my
these bands
friends.
should be doing that. Yeah, all these bands should be using that
Yeah,
right now.
I gave that to some of my friends in Toronto. They're buskers, and they start making a really good
Yeah.
money because people from around the world. So this can actually, again, be an opportunity for social adaptation of technological means, but for very human-related purpose.
Yeah.
A lot of good can come out of it. I live my life based on any tragedy is an opportunity for something beautiful. That depends on the definition of tragedy and beauty. But the point is the yin and yang, that there is a duality within the nature of everything. It can be used for good, it can be used for bad, it can be seen as good, it can be seen as bad.
Nothing is good or bad.
Yeah,
It's just
absolutely.
how you interpret it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe this is just one, like there's like a staircase. Maybe this is just one step on that way to transhumanism. Who knows?
Yeah. I totally agree with you. Sean, what's next for you, and where can people follow your work? I showed your Instagram, and your Twitter is also at Sean Chen.
Yes. What's next for me? I'm training to do the Ottawa Marathon on May 24. If it formally happens or not, you'll see on my Instagram. Like if it's not going on officially, I will run the 42.2 kilometers on my own. I'll just run around loops or whatever. I'll find something to do, but I will do it regardless. I'm also a healthcare worker too, so I'm living through this. Like a handful of my friends, they got laid off already. They said they'll get their jobs back, but who knows? A handful of my friends get to work from home, but I got to go right into ground zero. So
No.
the atmosphere from like the staff is they're trying to be as enthusiastic as possible, but you can definitely feel like an anxiety and like a feeling of like despair, because who knows how long this can last for. Like, do you have the endurance for it?
Is this sense that the healthcare system can be overwhelmed something that you feel is a
Oh yeah,
real
it's
kind of
already
concern?
it's a real concern. Yeah, it's already starting to get like whether it's number of masks, gloves, stuff like that, number of patients, nurses being overworked and stuff like that. It's a whole bunch of things. It's like the healthcare system, whether in Canada or the U.S., can only handle it for so long before it cracks, right?
Yeah. Yeah. We'll see. We'll see. I hope that we wake up, all of us, in one way or another.
I was going to ask you, do you have any? So it's now that everyone's inside. Are there any like feel good movies or TV shows you can recommend people?
Feel good. I'm the wrong person to ask because I like watch dystopian and stuff. I'm like, oh, that
Yeah,
could
man. Like
happen.
when you pull up Netflix now, it's like watch Contagion and stuff like that.
Um, there's a really cool Japanese movie called The Taste of Tea. It's very obscure, but it's one of the chillest, lightest, most beautiful films I've ever seen. And the whole plot of the film is about this little girl who sees a giant version of herself. Only she can see her.
Oh,
And
wow.
to get rid of her, she has to master a perfect backflip. This is the story. And random stuff happens along the way to her family and people around her life. It's just so chill and cool. So that would be a cool movie
I
to
gotta check
watch.
that out.
Yeah. Other than
If you
that,
want a good, if you want a good laugh, on Netflix, Dave Chappelle's Sticks and
oh
Stones. That
my
was a
God,
good one.
yes, yeah. Absolutely. And Joe
The
Rogan
The
podcasts.
Democrats probably won't like that, but
No, they won't like it.
whatever.
They won't like it, but whatever, they can't dislike whatever they want.
Frozen 2, if you have kids, that's a feel-good movie.
Right on, right
If
on.
you have Amazon Prime, Brittany Runs a Marathon, that's a funny movie.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Is that what you do? You just work out and watch movies to
Yeah, man. So now
stay.
that you're inside, it's like you're either on the indoor bike or you're on a treadmill. This is like the subscription company's like dream. It's like
Yeah, for
this
sure.
is prime time for them. Yeah.
We actually just got our stationary bike delivered 2 days ago. I assembled it
Perfect.
last night. Yeah, it's a good opportunity.
Good
Sean.
timing for that.
Yeah, for sure. Man, this was awesome. Spending about an hour chatting. Thank
So
you
glad we
for
got to do it finally.
yeah, thank you for encouraging me starting this podcast, because this is something that I think I will do until I die or become a cyborg or whatever. It's such a fun platform.
Yeah, 70 episodes, right? But now you said you're going to take like a summer break or something,
I'm gonna
or
take some time off after, we can talk about something else other than coronavirus,
yeah.
and then we'll see what's going to happen.
How about you say once this is like declared officially over, then you make your new episodes,
Yep, there we go. Yep.
or if we all go to hell, then you can
Yeah.
also make one final one too. Be like, this is the last officially last episode.
Yeah, the final major announcement will be the next episode of a NeoHuman podcast. Let me ask you the final question I ask all my guests: that if you
Okay.
come across an intelligent alien from a different civilization, what would you say is the worst thing humanity has done, and what would you say is our greatest achievement?
Oh, the worst thing we have ever done is mistreat our planet. We abused our planet in so many ways. We took it for granted. We still are taking it for granted. We're not caring for it. We're not living with it at all. We could have done a much better job at that. I apologize on behalf of the entire human race to the aliens. I apologize for how we treated our planet. And our greatest achievement, in an interestingly way, is how we've learned to treat. This sounds weird, but like in how we treat each other, because it could be like really, really bad, especially all the stuff you're like xenophobic stuff that you're seeing and enslavement from our past. But like the way we've learned, I think we've learned to ask for forgiveness. Sometimes we learn from those mistakes, from our second chances. But I think every time we get a second chance, I think we're on like our fifth chance now. But every time we learn from our chance, we do grow in some manner and we do improve on it. We'll probably end up in another batshit crazy situation down the line, but we will learn from that as well. So I think that's one of our greatest achievements. Please don't kill us, aliens.